Well, hi, very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf. I do hope I find you well. Today, reviewing this model of the Flexity 2 tram from Blackpool. But in the lead up to sort of recording this video, I've been recording it over the last week or so. And at the beginning of last week, we got this really alarming announcement from Blackpool Transport that basically the heritage trams have been paused for the rest of this year and will not be running on the seafront ever again. I was completely shocked, dismayed. I couldn't believe it. I was very disappointed. And yeah, I didn't know, whether to make a video about it or to review some of the models of the vintage trams that I've got. But anyway, all my disappointment and shock, I clearly wasn't alone. And a lot of people have been very vocal about it. Some of the MPs have got involved, some of the councillors have got involved. Obviously Blackpool, it's basically the same as taking the tower away. If you take away the vintage trams, it would be shocking for the town. So scroll on to the end of last week, and it looks like common sense has prevailed, and basically the heritage trams will be back next year. They are paused at the moment, but that's not the end of the world with it being the winter season. And they're going to carry on with the development of Rigby Road, which is the old tram depot for the heritage trams. So that will turn into Tramtown. Now, if you haven't seen it, there is a video on the channel. Go and have a look at that. I did get a tour around Tramtown, saw all the old trams there. Absolutely amazing. I'll put a link in the description to the video. Really great to see all the old trams still there. Hopefully they're going to get the doors onto the depot, get the roof fixed, and then they'll move forward, putting the trams back on the line. So, because of all of that, and because of the positive news that came out of it, I've carried on to complete this video. So today I want to review this model of the modern Blackpool trams. Now, I think these are fairly rare. I've not actually seen any of these for sale anywhere, but then I might be looking in the wrong places. But these came out a few years ago, and basically they're made by a company. I'll just turn it over. Where was it? It's on the side here. Here it is. Now, I hope I am pronouncing this right. Is it Leopold Halling? I hope that's right, but it's an Austrian company, and they specialise in making tram models. And this one here is of, as I say, of the Blackpool tram. I'm just going to remove that bit of paper there because that's actually the transfers that go with the model. I'm going to end up losing those. So they made the model of the Flexity tram here. There's a little bit of information on here about the trams. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But basically, these came onto the tracks in Blackpool in 2012. The modern tram fleet. I've got, I was talking about videos on the channel. There is a video of me riding the tram with a cab view for the whole length of the tramway all the way up to Fleetwood. It's quite interesting, especially when it gets beyond sort of Blackpool and the tramway turns into more of a sort of a train track and, departs from the road. If you're aware of Blackpool, then, in the main town, the trams kind of share the space on the promenade. But then as you get further towards Fleetwood, it becomes a lot more of a railway. And, these trams, they're very quiet. They're very comfortable, very smooth, very nice to ride on. But as I say, I'll go through the information about the real-life tram in a moment, but let's have a look at the model. Now, I picked this up. I think I've had this in the collection a good 5-6 years, maybe even more than that. I've certainly had it for a while. And as I say, I think these are relatively rare. I remember it being quite expensive. But maybe somebody can add in the comments and sort of say whether these are still available. I certainly know the first batch sold out, but I think there has been a second and third batch here. So it does say the scale is 187 with his HO, and you can see these are the decals. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to peel the paper off of those, keep those nice. But there's the instructions there. It doesn't really give a lot of information apart from how to remove the two cab ends should you want to do that. Now onto the model itself. Oh, it's nicely wrapped up here. Let's just slide this out of the box and onto here. So these are articulated trams. They're bi-directional, and as you can see, my lovely little tram model here. It's going to be quite hard to bring up to the camera, so what I might do is just drop some photos in as I talk about this. So it does look like this has been moulded in clear and then painted by the look of it because of the way the windows are fitted. Do like the glass on the front of the cab, looks really good. And obviously we've got the distinctive Blackpool purple livery on there. Inside the cab we got the driver's compartment is all nicely moulded in. I can't see a lot of detail on the control panels themselves, Yeah, there's definitely a driver's seat in there, and it's moulded together. And then working through the cab, not the best detail inside the models. You know, you've got the seating in here, but it's kind of moulded at waist height, so you haven't got the full depth of all the seats in there. We come to the next carriage along, which is articulated, and you can see that here. You've got an articulation 5 carriage trams, these. The second car along, we've got the doors moulded on the side. Nice detailed printing, very, very clear, with a Lancashire badge on the side. Moving to the centre portion of the tram, we've got the pantograph, as you can see on the top here, nicely detailed, and again articulation running all the way through the tram. And then basically the tram repeats itself on the other side. Got 3 sets of wheels, 2 at either end are basically free running, but with pickups on them. The centre ones are driven, and yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. It's a lovely little model, not too detailed on the inside, which is a shame, but hopefully it's going to look good going around on the layout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this over, get some detailed shots of it, tell you a little bit more about the Flexity 2, and then we'll run it on the layout. In 2009, Blackpool Council placed a £33 million order for 16 Flexity 2 trams from Bombardier. The trams were delivered in 2012, and Blackpool became the world launch customer for the Bombardier Transportation's new design. The modern 100% low-floor trams replaced the Blackpool Tramways tourist-focused and high-maintenance heritage fleet. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the heritage fleet was retained and does still run on occasions along the seafront in the summer, and yeah, looking forward to that coming back next year. Blackpool's Flexity 2 trams were intended to be suitable for daily commuters, but also to provide a service competitive with other modes of transport. They also comply with legislation on accessibility for disabled users. A further 2 Flexity trams arrived in December 2017, entering service on the 4th of March 2018. The Flexity 2 trams are bi-directional and have 5 sectional tram cars. The trams use 600 volts from overhead cables and run out of the Star Gate depot, which was a new depot built at the far end of Blackpool seafront, right on the South Shore, and run the full length, as I say, all the way through to Fleetwood. Right, let's have a look how this model runs. Now, this has been in the box for many, many years, so I'm not sure how it's going to be. Oh, not too bad. A little bit lively. I'm going to turn down the power on the controller. Yeah, a little bit more appropriate movement now for the tram. So what I would say about this is the detail inside is pretty poor. The painting on the outside is very, very good. But now that the tram is in motion, I think this model has come into its own. It does look absolutely superb going past the camera. Yeah, and a very nice runner. If a little bit noisy. Maybe it could do with a little bit of an oil. Yeah, a little bit noisy. As I say, only driven from the centre wheels, but the pickups on it working very nicely indeed. Okay, let's get this over to the other layout and let's get some shots of it running round. Well, what a superb model. As I said earlier on, I mean, it looks much better moving than it does stationary. The interior is a little bit sparse, which is a bit disappointing, but the livery on the outside looks amazing, and when it's in motion, it does somehow seem to capture the sort of motion that you would get from one of these Flexity trams as they're running, which is very hard to do actually, and watching it going around on the layout looks really superb. It might be because of at the front here we've got this sort of overhang that gives it a very distinctive cornering that makes it look very good. But yeah, over the moon with the model. As I say, I've had it many years, and I was planning to do a video on this, sort of reviewing the Blackpool trams, and it just kind of came to a head with the news about the heritage trams. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and why not check out the channel? Lots on there, and if you can subscribe, I'd be really grateful. And with that, we'll leave this one there. I'll say thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.